Hey y'all, welcome to my channel. If you are new here, welcome. If you're not new here, welcome back, y'all. My name is Elle, and this is my perspective. Okay, so I want to talk about Spanish, but I want to address some comments that have been left in the comment section. Y'all, this lighting is like weird, really whatever, y'all. Okay, so for a video that I did a while back, um, about what other YouTubers won't tell you. I have two comments on that one video that I will be addressing today, and then an additional comment. So this one is by, I believe I said the name right. If not, my bad. Pearl Perlita Venegas 2023 says, I don't think it's fair for you to say that you were quote unquote set up because of the language barrier you/they couldn't communicate. That's why speaking Spanish is so important for you to succeed in Merida and be able to communicate. I know YouTubers say that you don't have to speak Spanish, but that's some BS. Stay safe. And then my response was the setup is because the address provided and the picture of the house did not match up. It isn't about a language barrier, but false advertisement slash quote unquote catfish. Then the house that matched the picture had the men appear at my appointment time, not the house that had the exact address they provided. The houses were across the street from each other, house and pick on one side, exact address across the street. As mentioned in the video, I did not approach them in person because I had already seen it was a setup. There was no need for me to speak to them or them, me. There was also no need for me to stick around. Just as you said in a previous comment, scams happen. And like I said in the video, it isn't cool for people to make it like I wasn't set up because this is Merida or places are supposed to be safe or whatnot. It happens. So that was one comment. Again, that's one what other YouTubers won't tell you. My not so good experiences in Merida, Mexico. So that was one comment. The other comment is from I believe it's Pretty Brown Eyes 7757 says, you really need to start learning Spanish. I'm a Black woman here and I haven't had any of these issues because I know the language. Even basics will help you. Without it, you will continue to have these issues. Hope things get better for you. So I want to address those two comments and then move on to the next. Okay, so in that video, I mean, you can go back and watch it. I'm talking about my experiences, some shenanigans that was going on with me doing some house hunting, right? So let's go back to 2022. This is all within context. So 2022 is when I first got to Mexico. I hadn't been here before, ever, never, ever, ever, ever. You knew that I was doing Duolingo as my way of learning Spanish. Prior to that in the United States, we were spending maybe 12, 13 hours in the hospital. So there weren't going to be any time for like formal classes and things like that. So I was using the app. And then from there, yeah, this lighting. And so from there, once I got to Cancun, which is where I flew into, I was able to successfully ask for my tickets in Spanish to get me from Cancun to Playa del Carmen. I had already been told by people in Playa del Carmen that I did not need to speak Spanish, like English would be just perfect, but that was not my attitude. My attitude was always to learn Spanish. Right. And so even in that, like before I came to Mexico, I was also looking at menus. Y'all know I love me some food. So I'm looking at menus and I'm learning the Spanish words for things like alitas is wings. So I'm learning the Spanish words for things and the meanings and everything for dressing, for mustard, for everything, y'all, everything. We don't accept cards, tarjeta, all the things, right? And so when I landed in Playa del Carmen, the person I was actually supposed to be meeting up with like completely ghosted me. And I was just like, it is what it is. Like I didn't respond back like, hey, where are you? Like I didn't do any of those things because you knew where I was coming, you knew what time I was gonna be here, like all the things. And so, again, hear me out. This is back in 2022. Person ghosted me, I did not reach out. Like that's part of who I am, right? And so fast forward to Playa del Carmen, I'm having to get my food every day. Like I have the Rappi app, but it's not like completed or activated or whatever. Like I don't have a Mexican phone number put in, like none of those things. And so I'm walking to get my food every day. But guess what? I know me some Spanish to ask for certain things because I've been looking at the menus since I was in the United States, in that little time, like I could at least get onto Google Maps and pull up restaurants and see what was on different menus and so forth and so on. So, I was able to do those things. But to actually, when you talk to me, I'm going to get nervous. And so, because I get nervous, I shut down. and nothing. I don't know what that is, but nothing's coming in and nothing's coming out, right? And I don't know what that is. I don't know what that is. And so, you know, I can say if I continue to speak, then it comes better, but I don't think that's it. Like it's something else. It's something else. Okay, so fast forward, me looking at condos and stuff, and not condos but housing, and I ended up with the condo that was in 2023. Remember I got with the 10,000 peso thing. Okay, so the whole time that I was looking for houses and places to stay, I did pay for services to help me with all of that. My paid services and things, as well as the real estate agents, they were consistently telling me that I needed to pay a deposit. You need to pay the deposit. Like if you want them to take this house off the market, you need to pay this deposit. And so that's when I got. I paid the deposit as I was being directed and guided. Like I paid services. So in the United States, if I pay you for services, I'm paying you for your knowledge, right? I'm paying you for your time and your knowledge, essentially. And so like it's a basic thing, right? And so I was misguided. I was misguided. And so I got for 10,000 pesos. Now, that entire time, there was at least one bilingual person. At another time, like there was one, that was the least. Otherwise, there would be like two and three bilingual people, right? And so that was just a thing where, you know, I'm not feeling like there's a language barrier because I have several people on deck who are bilingual, or at least just one, right? And so that was that. I was just misguided with the whole, you know, do a deposit. So I'm telling you, and I said it in a different video, don't do a deposit, y'all, because you're going to set yourself up to get got the way that I got, which is why I was doing videos so that I could educate you and you not fall into the same pitfalls that I'm falling into, right? It's not about being ignorant. It's about being ignorant, right? I didn't know that that was a thing, and I was paying somebody to make the transition smoother and easier for me because I thought that so and so and so and so and so and so knew the ropes and so forth and so on, but that wasn't the case. So I got 10,000 pesos. I didn't get the money back. No one was offering money back. Let me give you a partial refund because you got like none of that. Nothing had happened. None of that. So I got, and I spread the information so that you didn't get that. So moving on to um, me looking for places. Wait, I forgot something. Okay, so back in 2022, so I was talking to somebody, excuse me for digging in my ear, y'all, that's rude. So I was talking to somebody, um, messaging, right? And so when I'm messaging and somebody came across and they were like, hey, are you Americana? And I was like, see. And so she was like, do you mind if I practice my English with you? And I was like, I'm going to continue to practice my Spanish. So yeah, we can do that. And so this is what happened. Listen, so I speak in Spanish, she responds in English. Because she's responding appropriately in English, I can respond appropriately in Spanish. Because I'm responding appropriately in Spanish, she can respond appropriately in English. So you see that dynamic thing. It's just that she asked that I knew what she was doing, right? So fast forward, me, I'm looking for my own places now because the real estate agent that I had reached out to was like, yeah, I can help you look for X, Y, and Z. Tell me what you're looking for. I told her what I was looking for. I told her my budget, which I can't remember if I left it at 11,000 pesos or what I had done, but I had changed my budget, right? I had changed my budget. And so going through and I didn't hear anything from her. Like I heard nothing back. And she said that she was going to help me, but I did ask her like in advance. And so she was like, yeah, I got you. And so I let her know everything that I was looking for. And while I'm waiting for her to respond, if she responds, I don't know what had happened. I don't know what had happened, but I decided to go ahead and look for stuff on my own. And so here's the thing behind this. This is a completely different video, a completely separate video. Maybe I should put in a separate video because this video is probably going to get long. Anyway, the process for looking for property that I took was Facebook Marketplace. Facebook Marketplace, I see something, I like it. I end up messaging them, asking them if it's still available. If I wanted to know if it had an oven, then I would ask if it had an oven. Some of them, they would take like weird pictures, like from here down. So I'd be like, does it have AC in all the rooms? And, you know, somebody came back and was like, I said it's as is. Okay, but you're not saying that it has AC. I said no furniture. And so, you know, that would be their response. And my thing is, even if it did have furniture, I don't want to talk to you because you have a shitty attitude and I don't want you to be my landlord for the next 12 months, right? And so I would just be done, like, okay, gracias, and be done. So moving forward, so the people that I will come across, I'm telling you, like you're having some that are like rude, like, "Meh." And I said no furniture. Okay, well, AC to me doesn't sound like furniture, right? Yeah, I don't know. And then another one had where it was a refrigerator and stove in the thing, and I was like, okay, so it says no furniture. Is the stove and refrigerator going to be included? Yes, it is, you know. And so then another one, stove and refrigerator says no furniture. Okay, is the stove and refrigerator going to be there? No, it's no furniture. Okay, because to me that's appliances, but I get it. So I'm just asking questions like that in the Facebook Messenger part. And then once we get past that part, then a lot of times they'll say, can I get your WhatsApp? And so WhatsApp is of course your WhatsApp number. So give them that number. And then I'm still speaking in Spanish. But once we get over to WhatsApp, I'm finding that I will speak in Spanish, they will speak in English. I will speak in Spanish, they will speak in English. And so I'm like, okay, so they're doing like, oh, girl from 2022 who was just like, I want to practice my English. And so I was like, that's the thing, because I've been coming across a lot of people who are actually bilingual. And so I'm like, it's cool. It is what it is. And so talking to, and again, one of the properties that I'm talking about, I'm going to give you information on one because the other one is a setup, and I don't want to give too much um, details, but let's just say that um, I'm speaking to both of them. Again, I'm doing my Spanish thing, they're doing their English thing. One of them is more talkative, right? And so, you know, I'm fine with that being more talkative. The other is just like, no, 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 I'm in the place right now. I'm gonna give you the pin because I'm literally in the address. I'm in the space right now. And so they give me the address. And again, there's no language miscommunication going on, right? You're talking to people that are bilingual. There's no nothing that's going on. Even if, again, I don't know with one of them. I don't know if maybe they were translating stuff to English to put it to me, but why would you do that when you can literally just be speaking in Spanish? Like, I don't know. The other one I know had literally said that they had been in the United States, a certain part of the United States for X amount of years, and then came back to Mexico. So, you know, you're getting some information about them, which I felt was fine because, again, these are going to be potential landlords, right? Like you're going to have this relationship with these people for X amount of months. And a thing with it is when you're bilingual, like I feel like a little bit more at ease, like there won't be a language barrier because we're both bilingual. Like I'm learning Spanish, but you are already speaking English. And so I felt like that. I felt like that, right? And so get to the property and both properties, get to both properties and see both properties. And I'm like, I'm not feeling it. And so I leave, right? I don't say anything, I just leave. And you know, I call my Uber and I be on my way. The one who gave me the legit address and I showed up at the legit address, that one I at least did give a heads up. I'm like, hey, don't show up, I'm already down. Like that kind of thing. The other one, because I showed up early, I showed up to both appointments early. For one, you know, there was some already stuff going on, but I showed up early. I saw the stuff going on, right? And then at my appointment time, I saw more stuff going on, and I was like, oh, y'all was really doing some shit, right? Like, first of all, not even. Okay, so let me put a little more to this. So again, let's just do some weirdness, right? So let's just say that this particular house is supposed to be an uber bright green, right? Like it's going to stick out. So that's what I saw on Facebook Marketplace was this color that just stuck out. Like there can be some colorful houses here, but this one was just going to stick out. And so once I get the address and I get to this place, the house that stuck out like that, that was not the address that I was given. So I was like, oh, snap, what is this? So there was no mistake, right? Like y'all, when I tell you it was a color that was sticking out. There was not going to be another house that was that exact color that I saw on the Facebook Marketplace that was on that street. There were more houses, let's say that we're sticking with green. Let's say we're sticking with green. If we stick with the color green, there were more houses maybe two houses that were a shade of green, but they weren't that vibrant, pop out, I said I'm here, right? There was only one. It didn't match. Now, the exact address I was given, the pen, it was like a dull color and it wasn't even the shade of green. It was nowhere near the shade of green, right? Let's say that instead of it being green, let's just say that it was like brown, right? Like it was nowhere near green. And I was just like, what is this? They're across the street from each other. And I'm like, oh hell no. Y'all, y'all y'all knew what the hell y'all was doing because you literally said, I'm in the house right now. Let me send you the pen. If you're in the house right now that you want me to be at, and the pen is going to the house that you want me to be at to meet you at, like it's not this vibrant color that I see on Facebook Marketplace. And I understand that owners and landlords, whoever, have different properties, right? I understand that that's a thing too. But I made sure that I specified that I was looking for this property right here. Another thing is that on Facebook Marketplace, some of the people will tell you the address. So in Facebook Marketplace, it had an address listed. The address listed wasn't even the address that he gave me. And I know that some people give different addresses, but it is different. Because that's not the first one where he gave me a different address than the one that was listed in Facebook Marketplace. I feel like that might be a protection measure. I don't know. But it wasn't that address. It wasn't that address. And that address that he said I'm at the place right now, that's not it. And I did make it clear that I wanted the bright green one. I did go into the profile to see that that person did have more than one property, which is why I also made sure to specify which one, how many bedrooms, how many baths, the price. I specified all that stuff so that there was no misunderstanding or anything. And so, yeah, like I said, I feel like I did most of my due diligence. So when I say I got and it wasn't a language barrier thing, like I said what I said, right? And so there was no need in me sticking around and playing games with y'all because I'm not playing games with you. And because you gave me that false information, and because I see all the stuff that I see, and when my appointment time came, I saw all of y'all flock out of one space. I saw people congregate from one space to go to the other space, which again was the vibrant green, right? Y'all didn't went there. Y'all waiting on me to show up at 1 o'clock, but I've already been there way earlier. Right. And so I'm looking at all this and I'm like, oh, hell no. I'm glad I already caught my Uber. So I'm waiting on the Uber. The Uber comes, lady comes, and the lady's talking to me. I heard what the hell she said. I heard what she said. She said, you are in, which is the name of the colonia that we were in. And again, time has passed. So I'm not going to tell you, I'm not going to say that I know the exact of what she said because I don't. But she either said I shouldn't be there or I couldn't be there. Right. But either way, this is my Uber right here. This is my Uber. I'm gone, right? And so, again, there's no language issue, there's no language barrier, there's no language nothing, right? When you're talking to bilingual people, I don't know what y'all read into to the people who did those comments. Like I'm not sure what you're reading into, but when I say that there's no language barrier slash issue thing like that, like no, this is all intuition. This is me seeing shit, and I'm like, I'm not gonna be in it. Like my intuition already said I shouldn't have been here, and I still showed up. And now I see this. I'm glad I showed up early because had I not shown up early and I showed up at my appointment time, I'm pretty sure some shenanigans would have went down. Here's the other thing that I really did the video for as well, is because I want people to understand. Everybody's saying that Merida is so safe and all this other stuff. Like, y'all, I've been doing my research. I've been reading behind the scenes and all this other There's some stuff, right? And so in addition to that, you have to understand that people are coming from so many different places and spaces, right? Their mindsets, their mentalities, everything is not the same, right? Even when you have Uber drivers, when you have the people that I talk to at their mom and pop shops, like everybody is not from Merida. So what makes you think that somebody coming in from the outside is going to uphold the same standards of Merida? For example, let's say that you have people coming from the United States, right? And they're trying to leave the United States, right? So you can have people who are trying to leave the United States talk to you and they still trying to pull game. Like they still doing some BSness. Like you just trying to be like in a place of space and a peace and so forth. And you're not there for all the BS. But they brought it with them. And it's just like, wait, what? Okay, no, go somewhere with that. Like, don't talk to me. Do not talk to me. Okay. I don't want to talk to you. I'm done. We have nothing else to say. Lose my number, lose everything. Right. And so it's that kind of thing. And so I'm not sure why people are thinking that because I went to a house and I said it was a setup, then they're like, oh no, the problem has to be me. The problem cannot be the situation. That people really did set me up. So that right there, that got me feeling some kind of way. Like, I don't know what y'all are doing. Like, again, that's not cool. Y'all are not cool people to hang around. Y'all are not safe because y'all are the ones that be like, oh no, it's your fault, girl. That is your fault. What? What? It's not a language thing. Like, I'm talking to people that are bilingual. What is going on with y'all? Why are y'all so quick to blame it on me when, again, this had nothing to do with speaking Spanish. It had nothing to do with speaking Spanish. It had a lot to do with what I saw, what I felt, and for me to just get on out, right? I did not approach the owners. I talked to the owners before I got to the properties on both days. So one house was one day, the other house was another day. So I had spoken to the owners or the people, the landlords, whoever, potential landlords. I had spoken to them, right? We had already had everything squared out, the appointment time, meeting place, the address, whatever you want to say. All the stuff was done. I got to the place early. I got to the place early and I'm looking and I'm seeing, and it's not for me. So I'm not understanding how that is a language thing, right? Because I see something and it's not for me. And then because I saw too much, and not only did you give me the wrong address, not only did you give me the wrong address, but when the appointment time came, I saw some shenanigans going on because I know that looking at, again, I'm just going to give you some colors. Looking at this brown house, which is the one that you gave me the address for, and looking at this vibrant green house, which is the one that was in Facebook Marketplace, I'm going to go to the lime green, the vibrant green house, right? I'm gonna go to that one because that's the one that's in the Facebook Marketplace. Like, I'm going to that one, right? And that's where y'all were meeting up at my appointment time. Like, this shenanigans. Why? How stupid would I look? How ignorant would I be if I reached out and was like, hey, so you said this address and I'm here, but the vibrant green house is here. And I see y'all. Is this you? Is this you? Like, what is that? What is that? Number one. Number two, you're supposed to be my potential landlord and you giving me the wrong information. I ain't got time for that. I ain't got time for that because I can see some other shit going on for the entire duration of our contract. I'm not playing with that. I'm not. Mm-mm. So again, for both of y'all who did the comment and you're like, okay, girl, you need to learn some Spanish and start learning Spanish, that had nothing to do with Spanish. Yeah, nothing to do with Spanish. Either either the people I'm meeting up with are bilingual or they're bringing bilingual people to the scene, right? So yeah. Um, let's see. I'm gonna read this other comment to you. This is on the video. Do you have to know Spanish in Merida, Mexico? This is by the Prepared Gardener 9302. It says, you mentioned that Duolingo was not your main resource to learn Spanish. Can you share your main study tool? Okay, so to answer your question, I do not have a main study tool, but what I will tell you is honestly, I stack my learning. Um, I am still learning Spanish. Learning Spanish is going to take a while for me. I will give you a little bit of background. 2 years of French in high school, 2 years of French in university, and I am not going to say that I am proficient, that I am a master or anything like that with French, right? And so I know it's going to take time. And so I definitely give myself space for that. In the different situations that I'm in, one thing that I learned about myself is that I have something, some kind of anxiety slash something that you can, and I feel like it's maybe my English, maybe, okay, so a little bit behind the scenes. So let's say that I'm talking to family or I'm working on business, clients, or working on some verbiage or some communications or some content or something for my business, right? And so all of that is usually my Englishness. And then let's say that you come in and you're all of a sudden speaking Spanish. I'm not ready. I'm not ready. Whoa, whoa, whoa. I don't speak Spanish. That's my immediate thing. That's, if that makes sense. That may not make sense, but that's me, right? And then once I calm down, and it can usually take a second, 2 seconds, and then I'm like, oh, okay, okay. So what were you saying? Oh, okay. And so then I can answer you. So I have all of my study tools, but I still have that issue. I still have that issue. I just had somebody come in to fix water I had a water leak, and he came in, and I was like, whoa, whoa, I don't speak Spanish. And he was like, but you just said all that very well. And then I was like, oh, okay. And so then I waited a little second, and I calmed down. And then I was able to answer all his questions. And then he asked me questions, some more questions, and I answered that. And then he changed the subject to something completely different. And I was still able to answer him with that. And so, it's that. And then a little bit ago, there was somebody, I speak to people, y'all know I speak to people a lot, Buenos Aires and all that stuff. And someone stopped me, and he was just like, you are so beautiful. Let me talk to you for a second. Like, I'm gonna holler at you. So he was talking to me. Yeah, we spoke to each other for a little over an hour. The man speaks no English at all, not even Spanglish, nothing. And so, when he first pulled me to the side, I was like, and so he was like, no, no, calm down, calm down, calm down. And as soon as I calmed down, then I was like, okay, what you got? What you got? And so he's asking all these questions, you're beautiful. What do you like to do? Do you dance? Do you cook? What kind of food do you like to eat? Um, what kind of music do you listen to? Like, he's asking all the questions. I'm answering. And then he's telling me the things about himself. And then he changed topics completely. And he was just trying to figure out, have you been to other places? Have you been to Chichen Itza? And so I was like, yeah. And so then this man starts talking about Chichen Itza. And like, when I went to Chichen Itza, I had an English speaker, right? And so this man is talking to me that I'm talking to for the minimum hour. So he's talking to me, and he was just like, yeah, and that's what they had to sacrifice, and blood was spilled. And I was just like, wait, how do I know all these words? Because all the different tools that I use, we don't say sacrifice, we don't say blood, like we don't use these words. And then I was just like, oh, okay, it's just because I'm actually being open, and I'm relaxed enough to hear what he's having to say. And then sometimes I'm like, bruh, what you say? Can you repeat what you say? I just don't even understand. I don't even understand. And then there's someone that I did meet in 2023. And when I met him, he was telling me that he is from a different part of Mexico, but the dialect is so weird, different. The accent, he was just like something. I'm, I don't understand what they saying a lot of times, not a lot of times, but sometimes I don't understand what they saying, and I had to just let him know I don't understand. I do not understand. And so he was like, so with you learning Spanish, like be fine with saying I don't understand. And so, I'm being the person that I am, I was like, oh, okay. So in the United States, there are times where people definitely don't understand what I'm saying. And I am proficient with my English, and they are proficient with their English. But like, let me give you some examples. So let's say that I go to a restaurant. Y'all know I like my restaurants. Let's say I go to a restaurant and go to the restaurant, and I'm like looking at the menu, food maybe on one side, alcoholic beverages maybe on the other side, but I'm not down for that. I just want some pop, right? And so I'm like, do you have any pop? What? Pop, do you have any pop? Let me go ask. Oh, hold on. 7 Up, Sprite. Oh, you mean soda? Um, yeah, pop. You got Sprite, 7 Up? What you got? I got Coke products. Is that Sprite, 7 Up? Like, can I get that with no ice? And so it's a thing. Like, a lot of people do not know. It wasn't just one, y'all. It wasn't just one, and it wasn't just in one city. Like, it's a lot of people that don't know that pop is soda. But from where I'm from, we say pop. It is what it is. Um, Speaking of that, another one is, you want some ass? No, I don't want any ass. I don't know why you thought that I would want some ass, because I don't. But yeah, that is literally ice. Do you want some ice? ICE, ice. Do you want some ice? You said ass, but I don't want ice or ass. But thank you for asking. But yeah, it's a thing. The other one, her. Yeah, her. And you can say, put it in context. Okay, two people were talking, and now it's silence, and now we don't know nothing about nothing. All of a sudden, you just say her, and it's just like, what, her? Oh, her over there, her. No, her. Like, we here, her is here. Oh, here, HERE, here. You're saying her for here, and I thought you were saying her for HER, her. Or wait, are you saying her? You need to get your herd on? Hair, HAIR. Oh, okay. So her can mean her, HER, here, HERE, hair, HAIR. Yeah, her. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So I know that some of y'all are like, what? No, that's not a thing. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. If you know, you know. But get your hair done. Get your hair did. Get your hair. Get your hair. And who is it? Nelly is getting hot in her. So yeah, that one. Yeah. Yeah, it's a thing, y'all, to know these things. Anyway, back to my language learning and so forth and so on. So I actually stack my learning. The Duolingo and another app is Language Drops. It's on my phone. It just says Drops. It's being offloaded because I clearly haven't used it in a while. But those are like 5-10 minute sessions. I haven't used Duolingo in a bit. But those are those. And to me, it's the equivalent of when you're in the United States and people want to do their word of the day to expand their vocabulary. Okay, they already speak their proficient level with English, but they want to expand. So they make it the word of the day, right? Or something like that. So to me, that's almost like a Duolingo type language drops. Language drops is less to me than Duolingo. So language drops in Duolingo, right? Another app that I use is Language Transfer. Language Transfer has, and it's like two heads back to back with the grinding wheels, but it's two heads back to back and they kind of intersect and then grinding the wheels for each one. Language Transfer, it's about 90 lessons. Definitely start with lesson 1 and go move forward. So it is a man who is basically helping you learn Spanish using a lot of the English foundation that you have. So you're not feeling like you're starting from scratch and so forth and so on. It is only audio, so you see nothing. It's just audio. And so that is great for that. Lessons maybe average about 10 minutes. It gets you, it fast paces you. It's a fast pace. So you're not going to, you can be conversational in a shorter amount of time, right? And then let's see, on YouTube, I look at Roo Paul. So Roo Paul has two different, Roo is standing for Quintana Roo, but he is actually Q and then space and then Roo, ROO, and then Paul, PAUL. So he is from the United States, and he was speaking Spanish in the United States. He is in Quintana Roo. Last I checked, it's been a minute since I've actually gone to his like what's going on with him type videos. So he has different sub channels, sub channels or something. But anyway, so he has this part, it's like zero to conversational, right? And he has this part that's in like cartoons, right? And so he animated, they're animated. I love to watch those. It's just this, it's a series. And then once you finish the series, or if you don't want to be in the animated part, he does have it in the non-animated part. But the non-animated part takes you, he has a lot of videos, right? But I like the animated part, and it's going to give you stuff in like 5-minute increments. Like they're not long videos at all. They're short videos. You can get a burst in, go out and practice, or just practice for the rest of the day, and then go and do that, right? Some of it is memorizing. I do take pictures. It depends on how you learn. I take pictures and I record audio, and just that's just how I am. Like I am the kind of person that will, take what somebody said and I'll replay it over and over and over and over. You know, just this, yeah, it's weird. But I do that. If I see something written on a video and I need to retain it, or if I see something written in a book or something and I need to retain it, I'll just take a picture, photographic memory, pull it back when I need it. So right now I'm looking at where Roo Paul has something and it says to knit, and to knit is to have. And then from to have, he's just like, okay, so we're doing conversational. And so since we're doing conversational, you don't need to know all of these different conjugations. We're just going to work on this conjugation. This conjugation is tango. Tango is to have. Sorry, I have. And so tienes is you have. And so I'm like, okay. And so when I wanted to go talk to somebody, this was last year, and I needed to know if they had changed, I was like, tienes cambio? Because I remembered I pulled up Q Paul and I knew you have is tienes. And then cambio, I know cambio has changed because again, it's related to food. It's related to processing stuff at a restaurant, right? I need change, right? So all those things, you just start putting stuff together. So tienes cambio. So Roo Paul is YouTube. There's also a resource on YouTube. Y'all, I don't know the name of it. I don't even know how I got to it. and I just look it up every now and then, and it's not the same resource, it's a completely different one. But there's these things where they read stories to you. They read it in Spanish, and then they have the words written in Spanish across the bottom of the screen. And so you listen to the story, and then after the story is done, the story is maybe like a 2 3 minute story. And after the 2 3 minute story is done, there's a quiz. And if you listened properly, you should be able to answer the questions. And so that is a good one to help you if you are someone who's needing to work on your listening skills, or if you have your reading down pat. Yeah, if you have your reading down pat and you need to listen, then don't look at the written, but just listen. And then for me, like I'm always working on both anyway. And so I'll read what is written and listen to the words. I'm like, oh, okay, so this is what it sounds like. This is what that sounds like. And then do that. Okay. So there was this man that I came across, and um wait, stay on. Okay, so that's Roo Paul. That's also the other thing. I don't know what that is. Here on TV, there's something I want to say it's called Sesamo. I don't know, but it's the kitty version of Sesame Street, and it is not. It's Bert and Ernie, but it's not Bert and Ernie. Like Ernie is Enrique. Like it's different people, but it's Bert and Ernie. It's Elmo. It's like it's all of them, but it's the little stuff. And so I like listen to those as well. Um, let's see. I do not really try to use my Rappi and Uber. I do use them, but I try not to use them to get food. I try to go places. So every day I'm trying to walk someplace and go someplace to get some food. When you're doing that, guess what you're doing, guys? You're interacting with people and you're talking, right? And so the man that I met and was talking to for over an hour and talking about everything under the sun, yeah, just all of that. But when he's talking about how for Chichen Itza, sacrificing of the blood, like you're not gonna get that. Like you're not gonna get that in Spanish apps. Like you're not gonna get that on YouTube. Like you're not gonna get that. Yeah, it just takes a moment. I don't know where it came from. Like I do some other things on the side as well, to actually help me with Spanish. But yeah, yeah, y'all know I'm hippy dippy as well. So trust me, this is some other stuff. Let's see. Wednesdays. Wednesdays, guys, almost time to be done anyway, because on Wednesdays, I do have Spanish classes, which I don't really do videos on Wednesdays, or it's a really weird time. But Wednesdays, I have classes, and the classes are an hour and a half long. They are conversational. And so every class time, we have about 2 words that we are learning, but the 2 words that we are learning, I've usually already learned them from Roo Paul or language transfer, right? And so I'm there for the conversational part and just for the part of interacting with other people who speak Spanish. And so I do that. Um, but yeah, you're literally it's conversational. And so, hey, I'm going on vacation. Does anybody know what I should stop off and see? Um, it's that kind of thing. Uh, my kids are doing this, we got, we're going to go visit X, Y, and Z country, and, just things like that. And so it's just like I said, conversation, whatever's going on with you for the week or whatever plans you got going on, and y'all speaking Spanish and y'all just have a conversation. But again, nobody's bringing up sacrifice and nobody's bringing up blood. And so, those things are coming from, my other exposure. Like, I don't know that. So like, sad. French has the same, French and Spanish have the same word, Triste, for sad, but it is pronounced differently due to the accents and the vowels and stuff. But it's the same thing. And so a lot of times I can gap bridge things that way using some of my French foundation. Um, um, just yeah, and then just knowing that words are different, completely different than in um, English. The translation, even again, learning learning a different language, right? Learning French, that it doesn't translate word for word all the time. So you have to do the same thing. Yeah, I think that's it. I think that's it. I have all of my different ones. I definitely would say going to see people and interact with them definitely does help. Um, listening, Um, Listening is so huge. There are these trucks that come by and you can listen to them and they're like, to name all sense. And so it's like, okay, we have what? We have, oh, you have tamales, and so you just listen to the different trucks as they come through, just to get that ear listening, listen to the TV, going to the grocery store, doing all the different things. You get to pick up on your Spanish. You get to learn your Spanish. I still have that thing where, something happens and I just shut down. Doesn't matter how much Spanish I know, how much Spanish I've been learning, all that, like it's just something where I just shut down. So I'm working on that. That's what I'm working on. But just know that in the comment section, people with the shenanigans talking about, you need to learn Spanish and so forth and so on. Yeah, we do need to learn Spanish if you're going to be in a Spanish speaking country. That's a given. Like, don't come with nonsense on the station. I've also done videos that says that, yeah, you definitely need to learn Spanish, even in Playa del Carmen, where they were like, oh, you don't need to learn Spanish. Yeah, learn Spanish. Like, come on, y'all. You in somebody else's country. Learn a language, number one. Number two, you can be so freaking confident in going around instead of you being like, oh man, I hope I come across somebody who speaks English. Like, don't do that. And then even with me, I've come across so many people who are bilingual, even in the mom and pop shops. When I'm doing the house hunting type things, the owners slash landlords, real estate agents, so many people are bilingual, but it's still good for me to know the language, but it was to address the people. The comment is to not say, I've mastered Spanish. I haven't. The comment was to address people, or the video content was to address the people who make it like my experiences were due to my level of proficiency when it comes to Spanish, when I was actually talking to people who were bilingual. So again, Spanish had nothing to do with it. That's common sense. It's just plain old common sense. And maybe they didn't look at the video, but it's plain old common sense. Yeah, and that's what it is. But as far as me learning language, still learning the language. Um, if you are in the United States, I would say there should be Mexican stores, Mexican parts of town, even. But if you're not comfortable with that, just go to the Mexican stores. And in Texas, you don't have to be in a Mexican part of town. Like it's not like Chinatown and just doing that. But just go to a Mexican store, and from my experience, the names of items will be in Spanish. And so you can do that, especially if you're not comfortable with talking to someone. Just start looking at the names of items and doing it that way. Also, if you are just trying to dabble in Spanish and you're not trying to be like jump in, then you can also do your local library. So your local library should have where they teach English to Spanish speakers. Those same libraries should have where they are teaching Spanish to English speakers. So check out and see. Yeah, check and see. They usually do have that available. But again, some of those things will be on time constraints. And again, with me in the United States before I came to Mexico, I was doing some stuff, y'all, and 12, 13 hours in a hospital. So it was just busy, 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 busy. And then it was next thing I know, it's time for me to get to Mexico. So, it's not to judge anybody for, your budget or not budget. It's also time. Time is a real thing. I didn't have time to actually get and learn the Spanish the way that I wanted to, because the time that I had was literally going to be. I remember one of those times my mama had gone into a store. We were leaving the hospital and she stopped off at a store, and I stayed in the car and pulled out and listened to like a Duolingo uh, lesson or something. And then by the time that lesson was done, then she got back in the car, and it was just like, yeah, it's like you gotta, yeah, I had to get Spanish in when I got Spanish in, but here I'm able to get Spanish in. And so I stack my Spanish. And so it's the apps, it's the TV, it's the classes, it's the interacting with people in person, and all those things. Um, so yeah, I haven't done the flashcards. I haven't. Mm-mm. I think right now the way that I do things, I'm good. And the stuff that I look at, like I already know what it is in Spanish. Like if I'm looking at a suitcase, I already know what a suitcase is. Like I know what a purse is. I know what water is. I know what those things are. So at this point, flashcards won't really help because I got those. But if you are someone who is learning, then that's something for you. But excuse me, again, definitely love on yourself. Know that it takes time to learn a language. Like, look at how long it takes for other people to learn language. Look at if you went to university or if you did the high school NISNIS, you saw how, you could be learning something for X amount of time and it's going to take a while, especially depending on the approach that you take. Some people can literally, like, I feel like in high school, I feel like I took almost a year and a half for them to teach us how to freaking conjugate. And then I turn around and get to college and they still want me to conjugate. And it's just like, well, hold on. Now, what else do you want? So yeah, but cue Roo Paul and language transfer for app and for YouTube, and definitely to get out there and do some stuff. And then again, supplement with classes. And I do one class once a week. And again, it's on Wednesdays for an hour and a half. And yeah, if you have any questions, comments, concerns, anything like that, yeah, keep the shenanigans to yourself. Keep the shenanigans to yourself. I will see if I remember to put this in the description box. But if not, this is the video. So until next time, don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe. Bye, y'all.